I have tried so many times to film this video in the past, and now I'm coming up with the courage to make it now. Um, I wrote down a lot of what I wanted to say in this video um, because I know that I will lose train of thought. And this, as a disclaimer, this is going to be completely unedited. I'm literally recording it and uploading it the way you see it. There's no jump cuts. There's no fakeness in it. I wanted it to be completely real and from the heart. There's about a few topics that intertwine with the main one, and it's just really hard, so bear with me. This is probably going to be a long video. And also, if you're watching this and you're saying that I'm an attention whore, or I'm just doing this for attention, and like just all sorts of crap, and friends of one person that I'm about to talk about, if you want to keep running your mouth, go ahead. Because I never truly knew you. And for you to sit there and judge me and rip me apart just to make your friend feel better, that's completely wrong. I'm not someone for taking sides. I'm just for what's right and wrong in the situations, if I even remotely get brought into it. And I wasn't even looking for right and wrong. I was just looking for answers, simply. But 2 minutes into this video, and we already know what the topic's going to be about by the title, if you've read the title. My name's Taylor, and I suffer from depression and anxiety. I'll start out, I'm 23. If you knew, congrats. If not, now you know. I earned a bachelor's in June of 2016 for music producing, and I earned my master's September 29th, 2017 for entertainment business. As you can tell by the degrees I chose, the things that truly bring me back to a source of happiness in a way is creating music, being involved in the industry altogether with the modeling, acting, dance, singing, even making videos for you guys. I know I haven't been around, but I definitely want to get back into making it. I'm actually in the process of editing a vlog from my trip to Florida for my graduation this a couple weeks ago. So that should be up soon, hopefully. But to get to the nit and gritty of the whole thing, I started to feel like my life was deteriorating around when I was 10 years old, but I was too afraid to say anything because I didn't know how people would truly react. And a couple of years after, when I was around 12, things started to come out that I was hiding and just constantly trying to bury deep down in hopes that it would just go away. But it doesn't. It haunts you for the rest of your life. My mom sought out counseling for me, and when I was heading into the 7th grade, mostly to keep me kind of occupied while she was deployed to Iraq and Kuwait. She did 1 year in Kuwait and then 1 year in Iraq. She was in the Navy. I'm a military child. Let's count how many times Taylor says I'm in this video. But when she grew aware of the situations and stuff, she wanted me to get counseling, but it was mostly to kind of like have someone to talk to because I felt like I had nobody. And even today, I still feel like I have no one. No one. Um, I grew up with my dad most of my life, and you could say that I had daddy issues. Um, like me and him just had constant problems in my eyes, and I mean, we're working on it now. Um, but I was always feeling the constant need of guilt, even though I know deep down, like, it's not my fault for the situations that happened. I just felt guilty for even being born, to be honest. Um, Another thing was my entire life growing up, I went to 15 different schools before I graduated high school. I stayed at the same high school for 4 years. So by ninth grade, my ninth grade year was my 15th school that I had been to. So I didn't really stick around for very long, which gave me a constant revolving door of people coming in and out of my life to the point that I wouldn't even bother to try and make friends. I wouldn't try to click with anybody. So I had built up a form of social anxiety because I didn't want to grow attached to someone and then I had to leave for good. And I knew I wasn't going to come back. Um, so I grew used to pushing people away that wanted to try to get close. Um, and it, it just it just made it stick for really truly feeling like I'm alone. Um, I never got to really experience what love was or even know the perfect idea of it except in movies and in YouTube videos that I watch. I'll sit there and watch like Tumblr couple videos or like wedding videos of like YouTubers that I watched that got married and they found someone. And it's like, I want to be that happy. But I know, and it's like people tell me that you'll find it one day. And at this point, I'm not sure I will. And I'm being dead serious. It's not just because one guy broke my heart. Um, it's everything that's happened in a 23-year span for me. And it's like, I know you sit there and say, you're sitting there like, you're young, you're beautiful, like this and that. But what I'm going to get into about depression and anxiety and my views on it, it's it's non-existent. Um, I'm fiddling with stuff as you could tell. Mm. Depression and anxiety is definitely a number of things. I've watched other YouTubers who go through it and have gone through it and overcome it. And I pray one day that I will. Um, and for me, depression and anxiety is struggling to want to get out of bed every day. It's struggling to want to do your hair, your makeup, get ready for the day. And it feels like almost a chore and a task. And I just don't want to do it. I don't want to move out of my bed. It's like I want to be paralyzed in my bed. Um, it's faking a big smile for the world to see and putting up the biggest front where no one would even think that anything is wrong with you. But at the end of the day, you end up sitting in a shower, crying, just letting it all out because no one can hear you and no one can see you completely break down. And it's struggling to make eye contact or be still. As you can tell, I'm moving around a lot because I'm also nervous about this video. And the biggest thing for me is it's the feeling. It's the constant feeling of feeling worthless. And it's not going to change no matter how many people tell you that you're not, and that they love and cherish you, and they rattle off things like your accomplishments and like bring up the past and stuff that you've went through, and that you're still here dealing with it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't feel right. And it's just to sum depression and anxiety up, it's like voices in your head that don't stop talking. They keep contradicting everything. They keep manipulating and screwing everything up that's good in your life. They control you. It's to the point I'm sitting in my room clawing at my head, crying because I want them out. I don't know how they got in there. I don't know why. But they're telling me to do and say and believe things that I know I personally would never resort to or believe. And a lot of that is ending your own life because of feeling worthless. You feel like no one's gonna care and no one's gonna matter. And it's just, I don't know how else to explain it other than the voices forget everyone that truly cares about you. Like, I know I have family. Like, me talking, I know I have family and friends that care and try to support me, but the voices take over and I have no one. No one cares. No one notices. It's just me alone in a completely dark room. To get back to the whole like finding love thing, I truly thought I would never find it. I never thought I would be able to fight the voices a little bit to the point that, oh my God, this guy actually likes me. This guy actually cares about me. It was in May that I met the person that I essentially knew that I wanted to be with, but I tried to deny it. I tried to protect him. I tried to think that I was protecting him from things that I go through, because a part of me knew he wasn't going to know how to handle it and he wasn't going to be able to. And once things got really rough, that he was going to disappear. And it's essentially what happened. In May, we started talking. I'm just going to give you a little background on it. In May, we started talking, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot, whatever. It's not going to go anywhere, like it always has for me. Because I've talked to several guys before, and it's just never gone anywhere. So I was like, whatever. What's the worst he could do? Just stop talking to me again. like the rest. So I messaged him, and he actually asked my mom to give me his number. And that's what was funny to me. And I was like, if you have balls to message my mom and ask her to give me your number, there's got to be something worth talking to you about. So I messaged him, and we were talking, and he was just so involved in the conversation. He was so into it. He's texting me nonstop, constantly asking me, like, what's your favorite movie, your favorite thing to do, like, just wanting to know these little things about me that, like, I never thought cared for anybody else. And then we somehow got on the topic of the zoo, and he asked me what my favorite animal was. And I was like, it's a polar bear. And he was like, well, that's super funny because so is mine. And I just thought it was kind of cute. I don't know about you, but it was kind of cute to me. So he didn't really ask. He kind of just said that he was. And that's what I loved, was he basically was like, so I want to go to the zoo, and you're coming with me. He's like, me and you are going to go on a date to the zoo, and we're going to go see baby polar bears. Because I had told him I'd never seen them before. And by the end of the day, it was the best day ever. And I didn't want it to end. I was in such a happy state that I'd never thought I'd seen before. I was never so content with my life. Like, he just did something. Like, something about him made me feel good. It made me feel right and happy. And it felt so good to the point that it scared me. And then for a few months after that, we continued to talk, but I tried to just kind of friend zone him. And because I didn't think it was real, I thought it was just some fairy tale thing that was just going to happen once and never again. But he continued to try and push and talk to me, and I was just so confused. Like, why do you want to talk to me so bad? Why do you want to be with me so bad? I don't understand. I don't know what I did. And in a way, I kind of was like letting him know that I was trying to protect him from myself, and that this was something that is scary, and you don't want to see it, you don't want to deal with it, because it makes you do crazy things that you can't explain. And he just kept insisting. So about a week after my birthday, because he wanted to spend time with me on my birthday, he wanted to take me to my favorite restaurant, which was an hour away from here, for my birthday. Like, he just went out of his way to do things for me. And it was like, and honestly, it's not even like having to spend money on me. He went out of his way to come to my house. He lives an hour away. And he would come here. Like, I'd be like, hey, do you want to hang out? And he'd be like, yep, I'm on my way. And I was like, that was surprisingly too easy. And I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God, someone's actually giving me the time of day. Someone cares. So while we were talking, I thought I was getting back to a state where my depression and anxiety was starting to fizzle out, and I was starting to get to a really happy place. So I gave it a shot, and just things were getting out of hand after we got together. And I was like, I tried to warn him, and I didn't like flat out warn him of it. We ended up in a fight over something so small, and like that's pretty much the majority of the fights that we'd ever had, was just small stuff. Was it was just like the depression and anxiety making you overthink, and just psychoanalyze every little thing that goes on. Because it's like you went from talking to me all day long, nonstop, whether you were working or you were doing an activity, you were still talking to me all day. And then all of a sudden, like, it was like small talk. It was, and I started getting scared. The depression and anxiety was coming back because I felt like I was losing everything else. And I felt the next thing I was going to lose was him. And before I was trying, honestly, to push him away where it would be me that broke it, that destroyed it. And in a way, I kind of did, because a few days ago he broke it off for good, changed our relationship status, and just we haven't talked since. And my heart's still breaking, because regardless if you know someone a couple days or a few years, love has no time frame. And I was truly falling in love with this kid, regardless of his past, his education, his work, what he does for a living. Like, none of that mattered. It was just the person he was. And I ended up messaging his ex a few nights ago because I kept overthinking and psychoanalyzing everything, and I wanted to find answers, and I needed to find answers, and I even tried to talk to his friends for answers, and it just spiraled so far out of control. And right then and there, I knew that the demons won, and I was never coming back from it. But deep down, the real me wants help. But I feel like I'm doing it alone, and I don't want to be alone. And the small talk made me think that you were distancing yourself from me because it just came out of the blue, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what's going on? Wouldn't tell me. Just would be like, I'm busy, or my phone died. And then just was never truly really wanting to hang out anymore. And I was like, what did I do wrong? Why doesn't he love me anymore? Why doesn't he care? And he was someone I wanted to move forward with in life for the rest of my life. Something about him made me want to visualize marrying him and having a life with him. And I still do. And I know that sounds crazy, but I do. And I don't care what anyone says about it. Friends are going to think I'm crazy and psycho. Like, I've been called every name in the book. I've been bullied since kindergarten. I've been called everything. but it's to the point that I don't care what you think of me anymore. I know I have my issues and I'm going to work on them, but you didn't stick around long enough to help me start to work on myself. And I don't know. Every day my stomach is in knots. I don't eat, barely sleep. Um, Crying constantly to the point I have tear stains on my face that are like permanent, and to the point I'm almost throwing up. And I knew once the real part of me snapped back after messaging his ex that I hit a record low. I was so insecure about myself. And I am. I constantly thinking that I'm never good enough for you. I'll never be good enough for you. I'm too damaged for you. Because no one wants damaged goods. It's simple. But I love you if you're watching this video. I love you. I will always love you, regardless if you talk to me or not. And if you find it in your heart to forgive me and just be there on this journey, I promise things can get better. Because today's the day that I'm going to start. And I'm going to try my damned hardest to get better. Because I don't want to think these thoughts anymore. I don't want to go to work every day and be miserable because voices in my head are telling me that life sucks. Your job sucks. Everything you do sucks. And I really hope you. And if you're watching this and you're going through it, one day it's going to get okay. Just go get help. Don't be like me and wait till your world has completely shattered in front of you to get help, because sometimes it may never get fixed. I may never see him again, and I hate it. Makes me want to throw up right now thinking about it, because it gave him everything. It gave him my entire heart. I'm not taking it back. And that's pretty much it. That's all I've got to say. If you struggle with depression and anxiety and you want to see my journey, give this video a thumbs up. Leave comments. I will answer any questions you have. Everyone's struggling with something. But when things get rough, don't completely freeze yourself out, because you will literally be left with nothing. And that's how I feel. Is I feel left with nothing.